What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for being here on my YouTube channel. This is where I talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff I love to talk about. That includes movies and comic books and TV shows and video games and anything and everything that just strikes my fancy at that moment. And right now, what's striking my fancy is some TV shows, and one of them is The Walking Dead. And yeah, I love The Walking Dead. I've been watching it since the beginning. Walking Dead is one of my favorite shows. And I know a lot of people have kind of gotten off the Walking Dead train. I haven't. I love it. So let's talk about the second half of Season 10, the premiere episode. That would be Season 10, Episode 9, that just came on Sunday. And unfortunately, I didn't like it. I really didn't like this episode. Now, I liked some of it. I did. I liked some of it, and I'll get to that in a moment. But I did not like all the stuff that involved our main heroes. You know, the mid-season finale ended with Daryl and Carol and some of our heroes getting lured into a trap by Alpha, where they fall into this cave, and now they're trapped in the cave, and there's walkers on all sides of them. And first of all, it just felt like more of the same. It felt like more of the same to me, because we have been in situations where our heroes have been surrounded by walkers and in an impossible to escape scenario, and they figure out some miraculous way to get out. We've been in this scenario lots of times. And you know what I hear from people who criticize The Walking Dead today? Why can't they just bring back walkers as the bad guys? You know, they evolved the show because they knew that walkers, being the bad guys, would get a little stale. It would get a little rote. It would get a little monotonous. And that's what I felt like in this episode. It was just monotonous. It was stuff that we've seen before. You know, not at any time during this episode, or even during the whole break, over the last 4 months, there was at no period where I thought to myself, man, I hope Daryl gets out, or man, I hope Carol gets out, or man, I hope that any of these people that I care about, Jerry or whoever, gets out, because I knew they were going to. And that was one of my issues with it, was that it was just so by the book. Another issue I had with it was, frankly, the lighting. The lighting was horrible in this episode. That I couldn't see anything. And I understand they're in a cave and it's dark, but there's ways that they could have filmed it to showcase the darkness of it and the claustrophobia of it, and still make it visible. I couldn't see anything. Now, granted, maybe it was just my TV. So if you could see what was happening in this episode of The Walking Dead when they were in the cave, let me know in the comments down below, and maybe I'll have to get my TV checked out, because this did not look... It was hard... This was hard to follow because it was so dark. The action was hard to follow. But, as I said, there was some stuff that I liked. I liked Negan's storyline. Boy, did I like Negan's storyline. And boy, did it get weird. It just got so weird. Now, so Negan is still trying to endear himself to the Whispers. You know, he's trying to get both feet in the door. He's got a foot in. He's trying to get both feet in the door now and become a full-fledged Whisperer. I believe Negan is still on a redemption arc. I really do. Now, I've read the comics. I know what happens in the comics. Now, that's not a guarantee that what happens in the comics is going to happen in the show, because they've deviated lots of times. But I have a feeling that what happens between Negan and Alpha in the comics is exactly what's going to happen in this show. I just have a funny feeling, just kind of in the back of my head, that that's exactly what's going to happen, because that's just kind of what I think that they're going for here. And I just feel like Negan is playing all the angles with Alpha, especially where Gamma's concerned. Now, I've never felt that Gamma's been long for this world. I think she's going to be a short-lived character, and I think Negan's going to have a lot to do with that. But the way that he shared his suspicions of Gamma to Alpha, That was a risky move for Negan. It was real risky. It could have gotten him in trouble because Gamma's Alpha's number 2. So it could have gotten him in a lot of trouble, but he shared it anyways, and he got rewarded for it. And it was so weird. It was so weird. You know, I like Negan. I like Negan a lot. This is a character that I even liked during All Out War. I did. I liked him. Now, he was the antagonist. I was cheering for Rick and Team Alexandria. But I liked Negan. I understood him as a character. I understood his motivations. I understood where he was coming from. I understood that to Negan, he was the hero. And Rick was the villain. I got that. I got that. And because I got that so clearly, I always liked Negan as a character. Even when I wasn't cheering for him. Even when I was cheering for him to be toppled. I liked him as a character. And I still do. And now I'm rooting for his redemption. And I think he's still on that redemptive arc. And he's going to have to go through a little alpha to get there. Literally. So Alpha offers herself up as a reward to Negan. Offers herself up as a sexual reward to Negan. Because he's a crass man. So he would like a crass reward. And you know, Negan just kind of said it's been a long time, and he partakes in the sexual act with Alpha. But Alpha left her skin mask on her face, and that is where it just got weird for me, because Negan just goes on in and kisses her. You know, Negan is a guy, he's going to play all the angles. He's going to play all the angles, and he's going to make sure that he puts himself in a situation to get what he needs when he needs to get it. And if that involves making out with a skin face, that's what he's going to do. I'm sorry, this got really weird. But it was weird in great, glorious ways because it was super entertaining. So, yeah, the parts of this episode that Negan and Alpha were in, I was into it. I was engaged. But the problem was the majority of the episode dealt with these guys in the cave, and I wasn't into that. That was that felt like a filler narrative to me. Like, we've got to put them in some peril. What can we do this time? Well, let's drop them in a cave full of walkers. It just felt very filler narrative to me. And The Walking Dead is notorious for filler episodes. Now, this clearly wasn't a filler episode. There was stuff with Negan and Alpha that moved the narrative forward. But yeah, there was some filler stuff in here. And like I said, The Walking Dead is notorious for that. So I'm hopeful now that they're out of that stupid cave, that Daryl and Carol and Team Alexandria and Team Hilltop, they're going to be able to insert themselves right back into this main narrative and get to that Whisperer War. Which, by the way, I don't think we're going to see the Whisperer War till season 11 at this point. But let's get there. Let's get there, because that is going to be super entertaining. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to see unfold on the screen. And yeah, overall, I didn't care for this episode. 70% of this episode was boring. Boring stuff that we've seen 100 times. But 30% of it was great. But overall, I cannot say this was a good episode, because so much of it was just Walking Dead repeat. So, yep, didn't care for this episode, but I'm only one person. What did you think of this episode? Maybe you dug that cave. Maybe you dug the atmosphere, the claustrophobia. Maybe you were into that cave. If so, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your take on it. And I wanted to thank you guys again for being here at the LQ Review. This is where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Before you leave, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And again, I appreciate your presence here, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff we love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you later.